You'll have to look for it and click on it.
Somebody's giving you $5 credit to boost your page.
Yes. It's a trap. Hey, it's Diane from Sister Earth Creations. Sparrow is here. She's going to help us with the comments because I can't see them on the phone and do what I need to do. I'm about 2 minutes early, so welcome. If you are on the live video and it's a few minutes early and you've decided that you want to take some notes, if you go to my Sister Earth Psychic Intuitive page, which you probably liked or you wouldn't be seeing this video, I just put up a thing for taking notes, like a free PDF download, and so you should have a few minutes if you wanted to go get that and print it out. You can do that. I wanted to thank Sparrow for helping me because I know that she's got busy things to do. While we're here waiting to start, I thought I would show you, this is one of the journals that I make, and you can find my page, Journals by Request, Dianne Keast, and there's a link to it in the feed of my Sister Earth Creations. But this is my cat lover's journal, and you have to be on my page, Sparrow. Go to Sister Earth Creations, not my profile, my page. Anyway, so this is a book for cat lovers, and it says on the front, "It's a perfectly sane amount of cats, thank you." And inside, I will show you. And if you're on a desktop, you can actually go on Amazon and look inside too. But it has cute little kitties and a place to write, and then there's places that just have paw prints. And so if you want to do a sketch or something, so I call it a write and draw journal. There's also some poems in there. There's a couple at the front, and then as I was thinking about cats, I thought, where would a cat put a poem? And I thought they would just stick it in there wherever randomly. So there's a poem in there just randomly too. But anyway, if you like this, you can go check out my page. If you just search for my name on Amazon, the books that I make will show up. This is one that I made for that game that I can't mention because the trademark belongs to someone else. But it's that game with the cards where it's inappropriate and you have to guess it. And people give points for the funniest answer. Whoops. So this is a journal, and it's called Something Totally Inappropriate, a Gaming Diary of Dark Humor and Unsuitable Hilarity. And what it is just a blank little journal for recording the best card plays. And then there's also one in the back for keeping ideas for write-in cards. So that's just a fun little journal that I made, and you can find that through my Amazon account too. All right, it looks like it's 8:30. Sparrow, is there any questions or comments? Everybody can hear me okay? Okay. So, person number 1, your name starts with an N, and you signed up, so this reading I'll be thinking of you and your name and your life, but everybody else who didn't sign up, you can still receive a special message, and what you need to do is you will join us in doing an energy exchange or a prayer or a blessing or however you see it, with the intent that whatever number you pick, you're going to listen to that reading, especially for yourself, and be listening for messages for your life. And because we are all having this intent that you can choose a number and you'll get a special message even if you didn't sign up, so that's what will happen because we said so. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the cards. These are my cards. I made them myself. This is the only deck like this in the world, with an exception that I have one student out in the world that reads them as well. They're not tarot cards, they're not runes, they're something different that I invented, but they are similar to tarot cards and runes. All right, so client number 1, I'm going to go ahead and start your reading. And the first card we draw is the theme card, and it's in the middle. And the theme card is either something you're dealing with right now, and so you need to be thinking about that thing, or it's something that's sort of a theme for your life. Like, if you were an artist, you might get the card that's the patron card of artists, that sort of thing. So the first card here in the middle for client number 1, and your name begins with an N, is the card of chaos. And the card of chaos looks like that. It's right side up, so it's saying that changes are coming, the nature of the universe is impermanent in the physical world. And so there are changes coming, changes that need to happen. You're going to have to accept them. They're going to actually bring you good things. So go ahead and try to maybe not resist the changes, but rather try to steer them in the best direction possible, and try to accept that chaos is just something that happens sometimes, and that's okay. The world is like that, and it's going to be some positive, good stuff coming to you that you weren't expecting because of these changes. So next we're going up to the top card. If you have downloaded the special note-taking thing, you can still go find that if you want, because you can always rewind this. It's just a little printable PDF that you can download so that you have a place to take notes about the readings. So if you are taking notes, this will be up at the top, and this is what affects the spiritual life. And it's the card of community, and it's upside down, so that's telling me that loss of community or no longer feeling connected to community spiritually. It may be a theme for you right now in your spiritual life, that you may be finding that just whatever your spiritual path was and the people that you are around who are going to help you on that path maybe don't fit you as well, or maybe you just have sort of lost connection with some of those folks. So time to be alone and sort of take stock of who you are, where you're going, what your growth pattern is going to be for your spiritual life, but also be letting go of people who aren't good for you, especially if they don't support you in a spiritual way. This is specifically about your spiritual life. And be looking for new people that suit you better. There can be some introspection, but you shouldn't be isolating yourself spiritually right now. This is encouraging you to find the best spiritual community that's right for you. Over here in the part of the reading that represents the logical mind and things academic, and so this would be like a job or school or something that involves using that logical part of your mind, a profession, or even a creative thing that involves stuff like math or writing. Here I see the card of frustration. So in some way your logical mind is occupied by being frustrated at this time. That's okay. Whatever's going on, you have every right to be frustrated. But you just have to not let that frustration turn into anger that controls you or causes you to sort of lose your cool. So there is a way to work this out so that you don't feel so angry, but you're actually going to have to put some effort in and think about how to use your anger to drive you forward rather than to tear things down. And we can draw another card on that one after we make the circle complete. In the material world, which is at the bottom, so that one was on what is my right-hand side here, the logical mind. At the bottom is what's going on in the spirit, or in the material and physical world. And somehow it must be connected to your spiritual life, because I keep wanting to say that word. We have the card of disappointment and disillusionment. This is a card saying that there could be something that was supposed to be a certain way and you thought it would be great, and the reality of it was that, it sounds great, but then when you go to do it, it really isn't all that great at all. So very much let go of ideals, let go of how it's supposed to be, and then make your choice about whether this thing is going to work. Can you deal with the reality of how it truly is? If you can deal with the reality of how it truly is, and come to terms with the fact that it's not perfect, then it'll work for you. And this is something having to do with your body or your material world or your possessions. And sometimes it's profession as well. But it's very much saying, it's not going to be as good as you thought, but knowing that you still want it, and make your choice according to that, not according to whether it's perfect or not. In your emotional centers, which is over here on what's my left hand, so on your note-taking paper would be on the left hand. In your emotional center, I see issues with lack of trust. So trouble trusting, maybe some people were not trustworthy. So it's working out the emotional damage that happens if you can't trust someone or if you've been lied to. If this is that card that screams, "You big fat liar." So very much do some assessment in your emotional life. Are you lying to yourself about something? Or are you having issues with learning who to trust and who not to trust, or healing some wounds that revolve around trust. There needs to be some healing happening there. I'm going to draw a couple more cards for this one just to see what helps you on your way. Okay, so the trust issue is going to have to do with a partnership. I feel like this is probably a romantic partnership, or you wished it was a romantic partnership. So working out things about truth and trust is directly related, I feel, to these ideals about wanting it to be more perfect than it really is. So take a look at it. The partner you have is not a bad partner for you, but they may not be suitable to have a continuing relationship. So in other words, it's not saying like they're a terrible person and you should never talk to them again. It's just saying, you can really care for somebody and still not have what it takes to make a relationship work. So you might want to take a really deep look at that, and look at what you might be willing to give up and what you're not willing to give up, and don't settle for less than what you really deserve. Over here in this something that occupies the logical mind, and it was frustrating and making you angry. So I said, what helps with that? And the answer is the Mother Earth. So that could mean actually talk to your mother about it, but it also might mean engaging in nature. Get away from people, get away from academics, get away from things in the logical mind. Go outside, relax, and think about something else for a while. But somehow that either a strong woman who you can confide in, who will help you see things, like reflect for you what's going on, or getting out into nature, both of those things I feel like are supportive of you and will help you work out whatever it is that you are finding very frustrating, and you're thinking about it a lot in your logical mind, trying to work it out. Okay, we're going to move on to reading number 2 now. If you are client number 1, or you chose number 1 and you just feel like you really have a question and I didn't answer it because I stopped to do the next reading, you can always message me on my page. And I answer all the messages that come in, so you can always do that. If you want to sign up for a reading next week to get more answers, you can also do that. And of course, I also do private paid readings, and that's always an option as well. And I got a $10 off coupon going right now on my website, so sisterearthcreations.com. And you just sign up to get your coupon, and then you automatically get a deduction on your bill. All right, I'm stirring and stirring and stirring. Okay, client number 2, and your name starts with a K. So I'm going to gather the cards up, and we're going to start your reading here as soon as I get a hold of all of them. I felt like I needed to cut the deck a little bit here. One more. Okay. Okay, client number 2. Your central focus, either right now or for your life, is correcting bad communication. So that's the card that goes in the center if you're taking notes. It's very much just saying, communication's not flowing like it's supposed to, and it's something you need to be diligent about, making sure that people understand each other. It benefits you, or wouldn't be in your theme, to make sure that communication is clear and that people are understanding what the other people mean, rather than just listening to what they say and then assuming. All right, I'm going to draw the rest of the cards. Okay. In your spiritual center, which is the one that's at the top, is the card of the Sky Dancer. And this is saying that part of your spiritual growth is that you're supposed to create beauty to share with other people. This is the card of musicians and writers and actors and all creative people. It's also the card of travel and like enjoying the world and visiting different places and seeing beautiful things. So both of those things are beneficial to your spiritual path. So art and a little bit of travel is good for you. You should be having something creative that you're doing fairly regularly, like making time for it, because it is good for your spiritual path that you be creating inspiring and beautiful things. Over here in what occupies the logical mind, something is out of balance, and you're struggling thinking about how to fix that, realizing that things are out of balance maybe a little more than you thought they were, and you're kind of, I'm drawing another card to see. You're asking, well, how am I going to fix that? Well, you already have the answers. You just have to tap into your inner strength to do the things you need to do to bring stuff back into balance. And balance is not something that you achieve and then you're done. It's something that has to be monitored. It's a constant balancing act. So be prepared for the fact that you just need to be noticing. How do you feel? How do you act when you're out of balance? Before you act on doing something, you can just stop and look at what does that look like? How does it feel? Kind of just be with it for a minute and be like, when I'm out of balance, I feel really sad, and I'm just going to take 15 minutes to just feel all the sadness that I really feel. And when you do that, it lets you observe what's going on when you're out of balance, and that helps you to bring yourself back to a place where you can correct that. In the physical and material world, which is the one at the bottom, frustrations about something not going the way that you wanted it to, and you're kind of pissed off about it. So we'll come back and we'll answer more about that in a minute. In the emotional center, something you've been working towards letting go of, something that it's been a long process, I feel like, of getting past something, of letting go of it, of not ruminating over this painful thing and continuing to pick at the scab. So emotionally, you're getting ready to start a new phase. You're getting ready to have some closure that you have been sort of working towards for a while. And you just need to keep doing that emotional healing. And you're coming along. There's really no set time for grieving over something. So this is something you had to let go of emotionally. You had to grieve for it. And it's just going to take the time that it takes. But you've been working on it because you knew you needed to, and you're getting really close to feeling like that burden is going to be something you're now strong enough to carry. It's like you've grown bigger around this burden of something that it was hard for you to let go of, and now you have the strength to carry it. I'm going to draw one more card here to see about this angry thing. It ended up being 2 cards. So there's potential for whatever this is to work out just fine. So something physical or something monetary or property or something in the material world. There's an opportunity there, but if you're not looking for this opportunity because you're frustrated, you will miss it. It's going to have to do probably, I want to say it feels like property, like land or a dwelling, something like that. And there's opportunities there, but you need to do something to really make it turn into something, or to find out the truth about what it can actually become for you. I feel like I want to draw one more card for you. So, yeah, I believe it is going to be something that affects your dwelling, because this is the card of the pavilion. So it could be a housing thing, could be a business office, but it is going to have something to do with some kind of dwelling situation or shelter situation that you are connected to. It doesn't look like a huge disaster. It just looks like responsible things need to be done. I see text on the screen, but I can't read it.
Christina says that you're amazing and she can't wait to do a private reading.
Oh, well, thank you, Christina. She said I was amazing. I don't know if you can hear Sparrow. All right, I'm going to put those cards away because I feel like that was a lot for someone to think about. And they don't need to have too much because you just get overwhelmed. So I'm going to put these back in the deck. And we're going to do reading number 3. And your name starts with a B. Or if at the beginning of this you chose the number 3, and you didn't sign up, but you wanted to connect with a number that has a message for you specifically somewhere in that reading, then number 3 would be for you. And I'm just going to give them a good mix up here before we do any more. While I'm stirring this, is there any other questions or anything up there, Sparrow? Okay. If you enjoy the readings that you've had today, or you've had a private reading from me, I really don't have very many reviews on Google or on Facebook. So if you feel moved to do a review for me, I would be very grateful. A lot of my clients are very shy and they don't want to write a review, but I would be really thankful if someone wanted to write one for me. Okay.
Jessica says she's a first-time viewer and says hello.
Oh, okay. Hello, Jessica. Okay. So if you chose the number 3, or you signed up and you are the person that I'm thinking of right now, and your name starts with a B, this reading is going to be for you. So the central focus right now, which I kind of feel like you struggle with this subject from time to time in your life. But for now, it's how do I combat negative chaos in my life is your central focus. How do I prevent the chaos that is sort of got momentum and I can't stop it? How do I keep it from just crushing everything? So that's going to be a focus in your life right now. And so probably there's some chaos, or you go through cycles of chaos. I'm going to draw a card to help with that. Truth and trust is the first thing. That's a card about speaking out for yourself. It's also a card about knowing who to trust and when to trust them, and trusting yourself. So issues of trust corrected to become positive is something that will help this chaos not be destructive. In your spiritual life, I see some struggles there to find the right path. I see some issues of addiction. Now, that doesn't always mean drugs and alcohol, as everyone has heard me say a million times. Sometimes it just means like avoiding things, not knowing how to deal with them, so you just sort of push them off and avoid them, or procrastination, or going to do something super fun when you should be dealing with some crap that you know you need to deal with. So that's a struggle that's in the way of your spiritual path. And so I drew another card for that, and that's the card of becoming. I feel like I can hear someone saying it's time to just sort your shit out. So you're about to hit a sorting process in your life. And when you do that, when you begin to decide some of the stuff that I have in my life that I'm clinging to right now, it isn't right for who I've become. That's why it's not working for you. You're not the same person that it used to work for anymore. You're a different person. You've grown, and now it's time to start deciding what you're going to let go of and what you're going to keep, and new things you're going to draw into your life. And when you begin that process, and you're right at the beginning of this process, when you begin to do that process, you're going to feel much lighter. You're going to feel like a spiritual awakening, and then you'll feel ready to really engage on a spiritual path that is right for you. But for now, it's your job to sort this stuff out. The warning about the addiction is the gesture inverted. The gesture inverted is always about using entertainment and charm and fun celebration to avoid something painful. And sometimes that's just about just basic avoidance. Other times it can be more serious. But it's time for you to not avoid the icky stuff, because the longer you avoid it, the more power it has over your life. So we're only as miserable as the things that we don't deal with. So you need to deal with it, and when you do, you're going to feel so much better. Over here in what occupies the logical mind, there's a surprise coming for you, something that you were hoping would turn out positive. Is going to turn out actually even better than you were expecting. So it's going to be, it's the surprise hope. So hope inverted doesn't have a negative meaning. It just means surprise. It's even better than you thought it was going to be. And it may not even be something that you're expecting, but if you could hope for it, if you'd have known, you would have hoped for it. So that's a good card to have there. In the physical world and material belongings, possessions, and money, a return to health. So you're going to be returning to having a stronger constitution, probably physically. And I feel like some of your material stuff, money-wise and stability-wise, is going to correct itself. I feel like you've been kind of working towards that. Okay, so over here in the emotional center, this is what's causing those problems that we're seeing in your spiritual path. Lack of communication with yourself. A lot of people think, find the positive and cling to it and ignore everything else. But in order to be a whole being, you have to be like holding two opposites, one in each hand. And when you do that, it's like you connect to this electrical connection. And that allows your life to move forward, and it allows for growth. So you can't push the darkness away. You have to embrace the darkness, but you have to be holding on to the light at the same time. When you do that, it lets your conscious, your subconscious, and your spiritual self sort of commune a little bit. And the more you work at it, the more connected you'll feel. I just feel like you have these two opposite pieces of yourself, and they don't understand each other, and it's very frustrating for you, and it makes you feel broken. And you're not broken. You just don't understand that you don't have to choose between them. You can choose a balance in between them. I'm trying hard to say what's that about. It's going to be about issues having to do with men, father figures, and other connections to men. So be looking for that, because everything I see here, you're kind of struggling, but you're about to do some more blooming. And, because it's like a new phase is coming. So keep working towards it, because it looks like you're just about to be like at that new place where you're like, oh, thank God, I'm finally to the top of this hill. All right, so I'm going to pull the cards in now. There questions or anything, Sparrow? Okay. Okie dokie. We're going to give them a stir. So I was going to ask folks, and you can put in the comments, do you want to see a show and tell on reading day of a piece of art that I made? If you guys are interested in that, we can definitely do that. I definitely have a house full of some finished art, mostly, so everything's half done, but I do have some finished pieces, so if you guys are interested in seeing any of those, make some comments about that, and then next week I will play show and tell for you. Okay. I'm going to cut the deck a little bit here. This is going to be reading number 4, so if you signed up and you are client number 4, or if you came to the video at the beginning and you chose the number 4, then this reading is going to have a special message for you in it as well. Okay. And client number 4, your name starts with an L, just in case you forgot. Boy, the theme is not a lot of communication going right for people. Okay, so client number 4, the focus for you right now is correcting bad communication. So very much about clear up the communication, very much check in with people. You said this. I think that when you say that, you mean this. Am I correct? And then that's how you find out, because we all communicate a little differently and it can get confusing. So clear up that communication. I'm going to draw a card that says, what should you do? You know what you should do. This is the card of inner strength again. And so you got this. You just got to calm down, breathe. Whenever there's bad communication, I happen to know this client, so I know that you get stress when there's bad communication. So just remember that you don't have to be stressed out. You can choose to calm down and breathe and do something else with that stress energy. Let it make you excited for the next step in communicating. In your spiritual center, you are on a new spiritual path. You're waiting for something to happen, some spiritual connection or some new spiritual project. This is the card of waiting. And the answer to the card of waiting is that you just have to wait. It's a cycle. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. It's going to be like the tide on the ocean. And so when the time is right, spiritual growth is going to happen for you. And you don't really need to do anything except just be paying attention. Sparrow?
Mine says that the video is frozen.
Ah.
And Bev says, thank you very much, very accurate.
All right. Are we unfrozen yet? Hoping that we're unfrozen yet, I'm going to go over this, and I can take a picture of this one, maybe if I can get Bob's phone, so you can see the reading in case you didn't get to hear it. But so spiritual life having to do with cycles. The right time is just going to come. You don't need to do anything special. You just need to be paying attention. Is anybody saying it's unfrozen yet?
But it's about like a 30-second delay.
Okay. Let me know if I'm still frozen. Well, I guess if I'm frozen, you won't be able to see me, so you won't be able to do that. But I'm going to go a little bit slow so that it has a chance to get unfrozen. So in the position of the logical mind is the card of the student. So the card of the student is all about learning from people who've already done it, and probably some repeating patterns in your life that you're ruminating about. That's okay. You're drawing those patterns to you because you're trying to learn something. So you're going to learn, and when you're done learning, you'll become the teacher instead of the student.
Ryan says yes, it's unfrozen.
Okay. In the physical world, there's some chaos going on. It's a lot of chaos today, and a lot of bad communication. I feel like the two are connected. So there's some chaos in your physical world. This is either going to be with your health, or it's going to be with material belongings. And just be careful that it doesn't become destructive. I'm going to draw another card so we can know more about that. Okay. If you cannot get frustrated with it, and I feel like you're already a little bit frustrated, if you can tamper down your frustration and turn it into some energy to fix the problem, that's going to make you feel a lot better about the situation. I do feel like it's going to work out, but there's just some stuff that needs to happen. There's something that needs to be let go of, or communication, that an idea that needs to be corrected. There's something going on there. In the end, it is going to work out, but it's going to make you mad first.
What number are you on?
I am on number 4. Over in the emotional part of your life is security and protection. So very much it's considering when to be vulnerable and when not to be vulnerable emotionally. And you've reached a new place in your life where you feel stronger. And so the big message here is to make sure that that you're not getting so swept away by emotions that you make yourself too vulnerable. So it's not saying put up a wall, but it's just saying go slow with emotional investments right now, and make sure that they really are the stable, positive emotional investments that you are looking for. So card of safety and protection in your emotional center. Very much like a shelter that keeps you safe and keeps you grounded. So try to be grounded in your emotional relationships right now. Try to be safe without putting up a wall that pushes people away. These are questions, Beryl? Okay. Okay, I'm just going to put all these back in here, and I'm going to give it a stir, and then we're going to do reading number 5, and then at the end we always do kind of a general reading. And that reading is sort of going to be a philosophical, meditative reading for everyone, the last one. I'm going to stir them some more. I think the reason that the video froze is because there was some thunder and lightning outside. And sometimes that will mess it up. Okay, so this reading is for client number 5, or if you chose the number 5 because you didn't sign up and you just picked a number, there will be a special message for you in there, and I am thinking specifically about client number 5 whose name starts with a R. And I just feel like I need to cut the deck some more. Okay. All right. So the theme for you is growth and a cycle of 1 year, but actually the growth cycle isn't as predictable as you were hoping. And so the message here is, even though you want it to go on a cycle that you have dictated, the universe doesn't care about your cycle plans. It doesn't care about your schedule or your itinerary. It's going to do what it's going to do. But this is related to hard work that you have done, something that you have planted that is going to grow, and you get to harvest it, and you will get your harvest, but it's going to be on a schedule that isn't what you're predicting. And so patience in the fact that You can't make the carrots grow faster by running outside at night and pulling on them. That doesn't work. So you'll have to just be patient with this and just let it grow the way it wants to. And when you do that, it should bring a little bit more peace to the situation. It may be longer than a 1 year cycle or shorter than a 1 year cycle. I feel like longer. But it's going to be something that will pay off in the end. In your spiritual center is the card of the Father God. So this is the Sun Father. So it's like the partner to the Mother Earth. It's a very strong male presence, a bunch of God energy to have on your spiritual path. It also indicates a lot of activity, a lot of outdoors, a lot of enjoyment of the harvest that the nature gods would give to people in the fall, that kind of thing, like appreciating the bounties of nature. You're not going to be a person who you're not going to do well if you don't spend time in nature. That's part of your spiritual path, is being in nature. Over here in the card that represents what occupies your mind, standing on the bridge between two kinds of people who may not understand each other very well. So you're kind of, in a way, an interpreter. In another way, you're like a go-between. You probably have two very different parts of your life, and you're trying to make those two parts sort of have some harmony. And you're doing a pretty good job. This card also might indicate that you're thinking of elders. This is the card that's the elders that have 1 foot in the spiritual world and 1 foot in the physical world. So maybe thinking about elders, ancestors, grandparents, things like that. But also this having 2 worlds and making them balance, and that is what occupies the logical and academic mind. Down here in what occupies the physical world, that station on the compass, this is physical and material, is the Mother Earth. So you got some pretty powerful cards going on in your reading. So the Mother Earth in the physical place, physical and material, whenever it falls there, is very much saying, yes, you're a nature person. You need to be in nature. You need to be doing stuff in nature. You need sunshine on you. You need dirt on your toes, all that kind of stuff. It indicates issues of actual mothers and female relationships with females, mothers, sisters, wives, friends, and that mothering kind of energy. It also indicates home soil and literally the Mother Earth, like I was saying. In the physical world, it could very much indicate sort of making roots somewhere or going back to the roots that you have from the past, specifically in relationship to land. So that's what I see in that one. In your emotional center, you're completing a cycle of sorting things out. So you have emotionally been doing work over the last, I want to say 10 years. You've been sorting stuff out, deciding what to keep, like cleaning out a closet, and then finding out what stuff you keep that you still need to fix and what stuff you've gotten rid of and you can forget about it. So it's culminating to a place where you've come to a plateau where you are done with that cycle of sorting out for now. We always are sorting out, so it's going to start a new cycle, and we always are sorting everything. That's how we grow. But emotionally, you've come to this really nice place of feeling like you've accomplished some stuff emotionally that you've been working on for a while. And you're just really ready to become the new you and to get to know yourself and who you are now that you've done all this sorting out. The only card that even a little bit indicates anything negative in your reading that would be a struggle is this theme of the cycle taking longer than you were expecting. And I said, tell us about that. And it says, you're a spiritual warrior. Don't worry about it. You will figure it out. It's going to happen. Whatever it is that you sort of are hoping will hurry up and grow and you get to harvest it. It all has to do with your spiritual path. It has to do with being conscious, being mindful, being able to fight for people who can't fight for themselves, being able to speak out when other people aren't speaking out, but someone should say something. So you just keep following your path, and it's all going to work itself out the way it's going to work itself out. So that's what I see for that. I'm going to gather these back up, and then this last reading is going to be the meditative reading that's sort of just like something to think about until next week. And by thinking about these things and having them, sort of contemplating them, considering them, it's going to help to prepare you for how your next few days are going to go, and will make it easier for you. So I'm going to give these a good stir. And like I said, I do have a coupon right now for private readings. I do them just over the phone. I also do them in video chats like what we're doing right now, but it would be a private one. And I do them, I can even do them through emails. I don't get requests for that very often, but I have done it before. I also have Zoom, if you like doing things on Zoom. And if you go to my website and you go to the specials page, you can sign up to get your coupon code to get $10 off of a private reading. Okay. So this reading is going to be, please tell us 3 things that by contemplating them, this upcoming week will go smoother for us. Okay, so the first one, I'm going to show these to you because I feel like everybody knows this is going on, but this is still the card. This is the card of health in the way that it's standing. See how I could tip over? It's saying health can be fragile. And this is specifically the physical health card. So don't be taking risks, germs and all that, blah, 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 wash your hands. But just keep in mind, you want to protect your physical body. You want to be safe in your physical body because health can be fragile. The next card is the card of the Jester. And it's the Jester is right side up. So that's a card that's all about, and see, he looks like a little jester hat. That card is all about celebrate life, enjoy yourself, count your blessings, smell the roses, go outside, get some sunshine, go ahead and embrace the happy things in your life. If there's something that you can be thankful for, then tell the world you're thankful for it.
Lorraine would like to know how much a private reading would normally cost.
They're normally $45, and then when you get the coupon, they're $35. And then the final card for contemplating this week, other than the Jester, and the Jester also represents a great sense of humor, so humor is a good thing, is the card of Disillusion is the next one. The card of Disillusion is all about making everything so romantic and having this ideal of it being so perfect, and you're seeing the world through rose-colored glasses, and you don't want to see the ugly underbelly of anything. And then when reality hits, you're crushed because it isn't what you thought it would be, and it's supposed to be in this certain nice, pretty way, and it isn't. So the lesson is to let go of those ideals. Life isn't perfect. Nothing is perfect. You can sort of smell the roses, but you have to also know that they have some thorns. So very much don't cling to ideals. Don't cling to how it should be. Look at how it really is and try to decide, can you deal with the way it is or not. And if it's still okay, even though it's imperfect, then move forward with whatever that is. And if it isn't, then you need to contemplate how you got in that position of making it so idealistic that then you end up disappointing yourself, and it's really nobody else's fault but your own because you refused to see how it really was. So those are the 3 things to contemplate. That should make your week easier. Is there any last question? Nope. Okay. Well, we are like 2 minutes before we usually end, so I'm going to thank everybody for coming. Again, if you want one of the little journals, or if there's a specific journal that you would like to buy from Amazon and they don't have one, you can contact me and we can talk about just me making one to put up there. I do have the Corgi Journal is done now, and I'm just about to put up a new one that is things I would do if this Corgi were not in my lap. And then the back of it says, there will be no chorin while this Corgi is snoring. And it's going to, kind of like the cat book, except it has Corgi pictures in it, and it's going to have a to-do list and a weekly planner in that one. And then I'll be doing just an alternative cover for the Corgi book that's just the Corgi Lovers book that I already have up there. So Journals by Request, Dianne Keast. You can find a link to it just on my Sister Earth page there. And then if you want the printable thing to make notes when you have a reading, that is also just in the feed on my Sister Earth Creations page. Let me know if you want to do art show and tell next week, and if I get some feedback saying people want that, then I will pull out a piece of art each time and we'll look at that, and then maybe even if people really like one of the pieces, we could do a class where we do a follow along how to make that piece of art. Alright, so this is Dianne, sisterearthcreations.com. Stop by and visit my website. There's some recipes there too, and you can also get your coupons there and your printable PDFs. Thank you all for coming. Please leave me a review either here or on Google. If you enjoyed your reading, I would super appreciate that. And you can have a great evening, and I will see you next week. All right, bye-bye.